Here's the front office looking into the big plan they have with their heads up their asses. Yeah. Yeah. Once again, guys, Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark's kind of non-existent on their Twitter X feed. I don't know what's going on.
That image right there. The front office with their heads up their asses. That's not just a random fan being salty on social media. That's the sentiment flooding the Indiana Fever's Twitter feed right now. And it's coming from the exact fan base that made them the most valuable franchise in women's basketball over the past year. Here's what's happening. The Fever just announced a promotional giveaway for their May 22nd game against Golden State. Buy a ticket, get an exclusive Fever Iowa crossover hat. Sounds smart, right? Capitalize on that Iowa connection, bring in those Hawkeye fans who followed Caitlin Clark to Indianapolis. Except there's one massive problem. Those Iowa fans, they're furious. And that fury tells us something critical about what's actually going on inside this franchise right now.
Okay, so Hawkeye fans, we're getting, man, the Fever, they're doing anything they can. Hawkeye fans, May 22nd is your night. Every ticket purchased for our matchup versus Golden State includes an exclusive Fever crossover with Iowa. I'm going to tell you, folks, had Stephanie White and the Fever not acted in the manner that they've acted, I'd have bought this cap. I would have bought this cap. I'm not going to buy it now. I guarantee you that.
Look at that response. The creator of that post says he would have bought that hat. Past tense, would have. But now, he's guaranteeing he won't. And he's not alone. Scroll through the replies to the Fever's Iowa hat announcement, and you'll see a pattern. These aren't casual fans complaining about ticket prices or game times. These are people who spent real money on this team last season. People who bought jerseys, traveled to road games, subscribed to League Pass specifically to watch Caitlin Clark play. And now they're telling the franchise to get lost. The Fever's announcement about signing Kate Martin got 5,600 likes and 411 comments. That ratio alone should tell you something. When your comment section is that active relative to likes, people aren't celebrating, they're venting. And what they're venting about reveals a fundamental disconnect between what the front office thinks fans want and what those fans are actually demanding.
Motherland, South Carolina. You really think you're going to get Iowa fans, but you don't support Caitlin Clark or draft Iowa players? Get the F out. You can't be serious with the bullshit. Wow. Wow. Hey, racist Hawkeye fans. And I can tell you right now, Real Donkey is being sarcastic here. May 22nd is your night. We hate you, but here's a beautiful yellow Hawkeye hat with your ticket purchase. Come see your favorite player, Caitlin Clark, play off the ball and wear a back brace. Fun times.
Money thirsty, but refusing to do what fans want. That comment cuts right to the heart of this. Because here's what makes this Iowa hat promotion so tone-deaf. The Fever are clearly aware they're losing Iowa fans. They know the fan base that generated record attendance, record merchandise sales, and funded their new practice facility is starting to walk away. So their solution is to sell them a hat with Iowa colors on it while simultaneously making decisions those fans hate. It's like watching someone set your house on fire and then trying to sell you a commemorative lighter. The gesture doesn't fix the underlying problem. It highlights it. And what is that underlying problem? It's not about Iowa nostalgia. It's about how Stephanie White is using Caitlin Clark on the court. It's about the front office signing another guard in Gabby Bruhol when fans were begging them to bring back Kate Martin. It's about a franchise that seems determined to prove they don't need to cater to Clark's strengths while simultaneously trying to profit off her name recognition.
Right? Remember that? Or the media couldn't comment on nobody unless they threw in Angel Reese. Like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have led this big growth into the WNBA. And you're like, yeah, but I've seen the attendance and I've seen the ratings, and it looks an awful lot like it's Caitlin Clark, singular, as the only person that's led that, right? I don't understand what's going on with the Fever. There is so few Caitlin Clark posts over the last 10 days that it's just strange. And some of those are like game highlights.
Remember this pattern, because we've seen it before. During Caitlin Clark's rookie season, the WNBA itself was terrified to promote her. They were so worried about making other players jealous, so concerned about the optics of centering their marketing around one person, that they bent over backwards to pretend the growth was about multiple rookies. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese led this expansion together. They'd say, never mind that the attendance numbers and ratings data told a completely different story. The media played the same game. You couldn't mention Clark's impact without immediately pivoting to Reese. It became this mandatory ritual, like they'd get in trouble if they acknowledged what the actual data was showing. And now the Fever are doing the exact same thing with their social media. Go look at their feed over the past 10 days. Caitlin Clark is practically invisible. They're promoting everyone else. They're hyping up training camp activities and new signings and community events. But the player who generates 90% of their engagement? She's missing in action. It's like they're afraid of their own star, or worse, they're trying to prove a point. We're not just the Caitlin Clark show, we're a team. We have other players who deserve attention too, which would be fine, except for one small detail. Those other players aren't the reason anyone's buying tickets.
We are in LA tomorrow for the first road game of the season. Caitlin Clark and her fans versus the WNBA owners, refs, coaches, players, old guard fans, and the media. Here we go. I mean, what are we doing? Hopefully Stephanie White asked the team what they think the Sparks are going to run. One of the worst looks I've ever seen from a coach at any level ever. Wow. The Fever went 1-3 against the Sparks.
The Fever went 1-3 against the Sparks last season. Caitlin didn't play in any of those 4 games. Ray Burrell killed them, and now they're heading to LA tomorrow with the same coaching staff that got torched in those matchups. But here's what's really interesting about this comment. It's not about wins and losses. Look at what this person actually wrote. I don't care if you win or lose. I just want 30 points and 12 assists from Clark. That mindset is spreading, and the Fever need to understand what it means. When fans stop caring about team success and start rooting exclusively for individual performance, that's not loyalty to the franchise. That's loyalty to the player despite the franchise. It's the first stage of fan divorce. They're still watching, but they're no longer invested in the organization's success. They're just here to see what Caitlin does before she eventually leaves. And can you blame them? After watching Stephanie White's offensive system for the first half of last season, after seeing Clark relegated to off-ball duties and asked to wear a back brace because the defensive scheme left her exposed, after watching the front office make roster decisions that seemed designed to prove they weren't dependent on their star, why would you trust this franchise with her career?
Back. Ooh, I got to tell you, people are mad. People are mad. Y'all thought Kate was still going to be with the Valkyries. Yeah. No, thank you. We've spent our money to see Caitlin Clark's game, not Stephanie White and the front office experiment. You're sabotaging not only Cece, but the team and the whole WNBA. Wow. Wow. I mean, maybe those Cece fans are mad as F right now.
That post-Olympic break run, let's talk about what actually happened there, because it's the key to understanding why fans are so frustrated right now. From mid-August through the end of the regular season in 2024, Caitlin Clark played basketball at an MVP level, not Rookie of the Year level, not promising young player level. She was genuinely one of the 2 or 3 best players in the entire league over that 2-month stretch. The efficiency numbers, the assist-to-turnover ratio, the scoring volume, the clutch performances. She nearly won the MVP award in 8 weeks, and here's what makes that so significant. That version of Caitlin Clark, the one we saw after the Olympic break, that's what Iowa fans watched for 2 years in college. That's the player they fell in love with. That's why they followed her to the WNBA in the first place. But the way Stephanie White is using her now, you'd think that run never happened. You'd think Clark was still the turnover-prone rookie from April, who needed training wheels. The offensive system doesn't showcase her strengths. The defensive assignments leave her vulnerable. The roster construction doesn't complement her skill set. It's like the coaching staff learned nothing from the second half of last season. Or worse, they learned something and decided to ignore it, because it didn't fit their vision of how the team should play.
A 30 for 30 one day on ESPN. What if we told you women's sports had the biggest star of all time, but neither their team nor the league was ready? I think about that for a second.
What if we told you women's sports had the biggest star of all time, but neither their team nor the league was ready? That's not hyperbole. That's an actual possibility we need to consider right now. Think about what Caitlin Clark represented coming into the WNBA, the highest scoring player in Division I basketball history, male or female, a genuine cultural phenomenon who had casual sports fans watching women's college basketball, someone who could have sold out arenas in any professional league in the world. And what happened? The league spent her rookie year trying not to promote her too much. Her own team spent the season trying to prove they weren't dependent on her. The media bent themselves into pretzels trying to share credit for the growth. And now, heading into year 2, her franchise is making roster and coaching decisions that seem almost designed to limit her impact. This could genuinely become a cautionary tale. The star who was too big for the infrastructure around her. The player who elevated the sport but got held back by the very organizations that should have been building around her talent.
And if you're going to sign another... what? Why? Oh, boy, I'm starting to see this a lot. I'm starting to see it a lot. Why? Your University of South Carolina North women's basketball team go make hats for the...
You really think you're going to get Iowa fans, but you don't support Caitlin or draft Iowa players. Get out. You can't be serious with this. And there it is, the core of the anger in one comment. The Fever want Iowa fans' money. They want those ticket sales and merchandise purchases and social media engagement numbers. They want to capitalize on the Hawkeye connection and the emotional investment those fans have in Caitlin Clark's success. But they don't want to actually do the things those fans are asking for. They didn't draft Kate Martin when they had the chance. They didn't build the offense around Clark's playmaking the way Iowa did. They didn't protect her on defense the way a franchise should protect their generational talent. They didn't make her the undisputed centerpiece of everything they do. Instead, they're trying to have it both ways. Profit off the Iowa connection while making basketball decisions that ignore what made that Iowa team so successful. Sell crossover merchandise while running an offensive system that doesn't maximize Clark's abilities. Court the fan base while making roster moves those fans hate. And now they're surprised that people are calling them out for it. They're confused that the Iowa hat promotion is getting ratioed in the comments. They don't understand why the fan base that made them relevant is starting to turn on them. But here's what makes this particularly significant. This isn't just about one promotional giveaway, or one roster decision, or one coaching philosophy. This is about a fundamental misunderstanding of what they actually have. The Indiana Fever didn't just draft a good player in 2024. They didn't just get a marketable rookie, or a future all-star. They got the single biggest draw in women's basketball history. Someone who can fill arenas in road cities. Someone who generates mainstream media coverage. Someone who makes the league relevant to casual sports fans who otherwise wouldn't pay attention to the WNBA. And the proper response to having that kind of player isn't to try to prove you don't need her. It's not to hedge your bets or spread the credit around or make sure everyone else gets their shine too. The proper response is to build everything around maximizing her success, because her success is your success. Look at what the Dallas Mavericks did when they got Luka Doncic. They didn't try to prove they were more than just the Luka show. They embraced it. They built the roster around his strengths. They designed the offense to showcase his playmaking. They protected him defensively. And when he elevated them to championship contention, they got credit for being smart enough to maximize generational talent. The Fever could have done that. They still could do that. But instead, they're selling Iowa hats while running an offense that doesn't feature their Iowa star the way she should be featured. They're courting the fan base while ignoring what that fan base is actually asking for. And the longer this disconnect continues, the more likely it becomes that those Iowa fans stop being Fever fans at all. They'll just be Caitlin Clark fans who tolerate the Fever until she's eligible to leave. They'll show up to watch her individual performances while actively rooting against the organization that's wasting her prime years. That's not speculation. That's already happening. You can see it in the comments. You can see it in the way people talk about the team versus how they talk about the player. The loyalty is to her, not to them. And here's the really damaging part. Once you lose that trust, once fans start viewing you as an obstacle to their favorite player's success rather than a partner in it, you can't get it back with promotional giveaways. You can't fix it with crossover merchandise, or social media campaigns, or community events. You fix it by winning, by putting Clark in position to dominate, by building a roster and system that showcases why she's special, by making decisions that demonstrate you understand what you have and you're committed to maximizing it. The Fever have a choice to make. They can keep trying to prove they're more than just the Caitlin Clark show, keep making basketball decisions based on some abstract notion of team balance and player development and not relying too heavily on one person. Or they can embrace reality, build everything around their generational talent, and reap the rewards that come from being smart enough to maximize what you have. Right now, they're choosing the first option, and the Iowa Hat promotion is the perfect symbol of that choice. We want your money and your engagement and your passion. We just don't want to actually do what you're asking us to do to earn it. So here's the question for you. If you're a Fever fan, particularly if you came over from Iowa, what would it actually take for you to trust this front office again? Is it roster moves? Coaching changes? A genuine commitment to building around Clark the way successful franchises build around their stars? Or have they already lost you? Are you just here to watch her individual performances until she can leave for a team that actually deserves her? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more honest analysis of what's actually happening in the WNBA, hit subscribe, because this story isn't over. The Fever's decisions this season are going to determine whether they become the franchise that maximizes generational talent, or the cautionary tale about what happens when you're too afraid of your own star.